Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. In today's video we're going to be going over some games that we got from Arrow, where he recently used Ferrothorn, but more specifically Drifblim and Pelipper, two of the Pokemon that got new move updates. So I wanted to go over those to help out anyone who's maybe trying to use these and see what a high level player can do with them. So let's go ahead and get into the video, but if you haven't, definitely hit that subscribe button and let's go into it. Alright, here we go. Game 1. And like I said, he's using Ferrothorn in the lead with Pelipper and Drifblim in the back. So first off, we get an Azumarill here. This is a pretty good matchup. You're resisting everything that Azumarill can do. And we're doing super effective damage with these Power Whips, as well as the Seed Bombs. But the Seed Bombs don't really do too much, but it is super effective at the end of the day, so it can whittle it down over time. And they're staying in with this Azumarill, which leads me to believe that what they have in the back is probably also weak to Ferrothorn, or maybe they have one weakness in the back and one counter, and they don't want to get counter swapped as soon as they bring in their counter. They bring in Galarian Stunfisk, so this is not the greatest matchup for Galarian Stunfisk, which leads me to believe again that the thing in the back must be super weak to Ferrothorn. And I'm surprised that Arrow is allowing or deciding to let this Ferrothorn go, but I'm sure he's got a plan for it. Both the things in the back are flyers, which are obviously going to be weak against the rock slides, but also at the end of the day, he does have a shield advantage, and he can possibly get to these Weather Ball water, and these are super effective against Galarian Stunfisk, and at this HP probably does KO. Now, Pelipper is actually a pretty frail Pokemon, so getting hit by one of these rock slides is actually going to do a lot of damage. I don't think it would one-shot, but yeah, it would do significant damage. So we come into this last matchup, it's Skarmory. These Weather Ball waters are going to be neutral. The Hurricane would be resisted from the Steel typing, so obviously just going to continue to go Weather Ball water. And probably brings in Drifblim after this. Yeah, because now that Skarmory's energy dry, you're going to want to... well, you could go for the Icy Wind, but he's just going for the Wind, which I guess makes sense because the shield is down. No use to play around there, just go for the Wind. So the interesting thing about Drifblim is it has that move that debuffs with Icy Wind, but also has Shadow Ball, which is an extremely high damage move. And Drifblim actually has... a very high amount of HP or health, but actually has... I'm sorry. Yeah, but actually has a very low defense. So moves actually hit it for pretty hard. If you see right there, Arrow's actually running Thunder instead of Flash Cannon. I assume for the flying coverage, but also the fact that Flash Cannon got a little bit of a nerf is going to be pretty good reasoning right there. Plus, if you ever land it on like a Pelipper, it's double super effective. Definitely will one-shot that thing. So he brings in Pelipper to farm down the Drifblim, and they come in with Frostlass. This is not the best matchup, obviously, but you actually can do a ton of damage with these Weather Ball waters. And you're only taking neutral damage from their moves, but this Powder Snow, I think our opponent's going to farm us down, have a ton of energy, but we've exhausted both shields. So really good position for us here. And considering, wow, that Avalanche did a lot more than I thought. So he's going to shield this and then just go for the Power Whip to KO this Frostlass, but does not get there. Coming in with Drifblim, probably needs to shield this and actually should be able to farm down because Hex is going to be super effective since Frostlass is a Ghost type Pokemon and Ghost is super effective against itself. Huge energy advantage here. Two Shadow Balls might be able to do it with all the hexes in between. It's going to be super close though, because this Ice Beam I assume is going to do a lot. Yeah, it's going to end up KOing us there. Alright, close game. Probably could have kept the shield instead of using it on the Ferrothorn, but obviously in the moment you're not going to figure everything out on the fly. You don't know what's in the back either. So Azumarill up front, our opponent switches, but into Skarmory. Sometimes they won't shield this because they'll think Ferrothorn has Flash Cannon, but yeah, able to do about 70% of the HP right there. That's always going to be a plus. Coming in with Drifblim and Icy Wind probably KOs at this HP. He's going to get a little bit of extra farm to go into the next matchup. Actually almost has another Icy Wind available. And they end up bringing in Kanto Raichu. So that's definitely interesting. You would think that a lot of the electric types have really been pushed out of the meta because of Galarian Stunfisk. But yeah, we see one right here, so that's interesting. Raichu actually gets to his moves super quick because it has that Thunder Shock. Actually, I think it's using Volt Switch here, though. So that's a little unfortunate for the Raichu. I think that Thunder Shock, I mean, both have their merits. Thunder Shock just gets to your moves a lot quicker, whereas Volt Switch is an insane hard-hitting move. The fact that Ferrothorn resists it, though, is really hampering it here. So our opponent is out of shields. If you notice, that's really a theme here. The opponent always seems to be out of, like, lower on shields. So Arrow really values having shields and will take moves if he doesn't need to block them. Alright, comes in with Pelipper, probably ends up shielding this first move, gets a ton of farm, I assume. I think a Weather Ball Water is going to be enough. Oh, he actually throws right away, which is fine, but I think he could have gotten a lot more farm out of that. Oh, maybe not. Alright. Well, this is the last Pokemon as well, so I was a little off on that. He didn't need to farm up if it's the last Pokemon, right? You just go for the win. Alright, Ferrothorn versus Galarian Stunfisk. This is actually a really close matchup. If they land the Earthquake, you're going to be in a pretty bad position. But the fact that these Power Whips are going to be neutral damage is really going to propel us into a better matchup. And the fact that they threw a Rock Slide there, not great. They end up trying to bait. We don't fall for it. The fact that... Ooh, little camera mess up there. No worries, don't worry about that. And yeah, so now we can shield the Earthquake here, and things are just not going great for the opponent here. We end up shielding the correct move, not falling for the bait. Rock Slide is resisted, so ends up not doing a ton of damage. And they actually get to a second Earthquake here. That's the one thing about Mudshot, is that it can get to the move very quickly. And we do throw Grass Knot, but they did swap in Abomasnow, which is great for our opponent because our Pokemon here in the back are both flyers, so they're going to be somewhat weak to Abomasnow. Pelipper is taking only neutral damage, though, so that's better for Pelipper, which is why he came in with Pelipper. And this Water Ball is going to do a lot of damage, but not enough to take it out. But that's okay here in the end. You could come in with either Pokemon and get a little bit of farm. He decides to come in with Ferrothorn since he's close to the move anyways, and it's going to pay off here. Our opponent must have something like a Zoomerl in the back, something weak to grass. Yeah. So this Power Whip's going to do a ton of damage. What he's probably going to do is let this Ferrothorn just eat an Ice Beam, and then be able to come in with Drifblim. Oh, CMP tie, that sucks. Come in with Drifblim and finish off this Zoomerl. One move won't KO us. I believe Hydro Pump still doesn't KO. And the Ice Beam, while being super effective, is just not gonna take you out from full health, right? It ended up doing about 75%, but this Shadow Ball is obviously gonna take it out. Even Icy Wind at that point probably could have taken out, but like I said, obviously the last Pokemon, might as well go for the big move. Alright, this is a huge lead. Resists all moves from regular normal Stunfisk, whatever it's called. And they end up switching out, but this Thunder always coming in handy against these Skarmory switch-ins. Probably going to shield this and come in with an Icy Wind. Maybe reduce this damage that the Skarmory can do. Actually just goes up to the Shadow Ball and then throws the Icy Wind. Maybe trying to induce a shield here. Does get the shield. This Sky Attack won't KO at this range. Brave Bird probably would. Well, I don't know. With the reduction, I don't know. But without shields, obviously going for the Shadow Ball. Almost takes it out. Can we farm down? Do we have an Icy Wind? Or are we going to get Bubble down here? Or, oh my gosh. So, survives the Thunder Shock, even though it's super effective. And, oh, wait, no, our opponent is lagging out. That's unfortunate. But it happens, and yeah, I guess this game's over. I would have loved to have seen this game play out. I do think Arrow still would have won. The Ferrothorn would have done so much work in this in these last against these last Pokemon. Obviously, Grass being very effective against both. And yeah, the opponent eventually DCs. And then obviously Pelipper could have gotten to a Hurricane against the Azumarill in the back as well. So that was a 4-1. We go into the second set. We just have 2 sets here from Arrow. So this matchup's interesting. The Shiftry actually resists all of our moves because we're not running Flash Cannon. But he doesn't know that, so probably going to go up to what would be a Flash Cannon and bait it with a Power Whip. And then we're actually taking neutral damage from the Foul Blaze. Alright, so we did get that shield for the bait on the Flash Cannon there. And it looks like we're just going to go straight for another Power Whip here. Did actually go up to the Flash Cannon energy again. But opponent's not falling for it. Come in with Pelipper, do some super effective damage. Everything that Shiftry is going to do is going to be neutral against Pelipper, but Pelipper, like I said before, not very tanky, very squishy, and ends up taking about 50% from that Leaf Blade. Actually, it looks like a little more. They come in with Registeel. I don't know how this matchup goes. The Weather Ball is obviously very good, but Pelipper is going to be taking so much damage from any of these moves, and obviously we're already low, so even a Flash Cannon will KO, even though it's resisted. I think it probably does still 50%, even though it is resisted. Pelipper's just that weak, right? Tried to catch a Flash Cannon. Almost did, but didn't quite get there. Farming up an absolute ton here. Going to try to catch again. Does catch the Flash Cannon here. It is resisted, but Ferrothorn is pretty low. Can he farm down? Is he going to be able to get... Ooh. But he has a ton of energy here on Drifblim. Maybe the Azumarill shields, thinking this is a Shadow Ball. Does not. But we need to reduce that damage anyways to give ourselves some chances. Problem is there's a Pokemon still in the back that he can remove these debuffs from. I mean, there's 3 Pokemon still. So eventually we'll have to go for this Shadow Ball and hope that it lands. Or try to get the shield again here. I don't know if there's enough time to get to another Shadow Ball after this before an Ice Beam comes in. If they're even running Ice Beam. Maybe it's a Play Rough. Yeah, the Ice Beam's going to take us out there. Alright. Stunfisk. Like I said in a previous game, this is a really good lead for us. Surprised he's staying in. I guess he's going to be going for these neutral Mud Bombs. But, yeah, you can see Arrow isn't going to throw yet. I think he's thinking that the opponent is not going to leave the matchup until Ferrothorn throws energy. So what he does is smartly go up to 2 Power Whips, throwing 1 that will most likely be shielded, and then a swap out. Our opponent does not swap out, though, staying in with his Stunfisk. Oh, and then he gets lag, loses out on the bubbles. That is super unfortunate. I think he only got a nice there because of it. That really sucks. Alright, coming in with another Power Whip. Our opponent probably won't shield since the last one did like no damage. Wow, he actually did shield. So that really sucks. Gonna shield here, probably just gets to the Power Whip. Interesting to go for the Discharge there, especially since Mud Bomb is neutral and Discharge is resisted and costs more, so that's really weird. So Pelipper coming in right away. These Weather Balls are going to be neutral against Skarmory. I wonder if he shields or not. If he doesn't shield, it means he wants to go all in on Drifblim, which is fine. If he gets to this Weather Ball, he's going to bring Skarmory down to almost nothing, but I think Skarmory is just going to go for the farm down here, which is going to be a little unfortunate. But you do have the shield. Probably come in with Drifblim, try to farm all the way down, shield his first move. Yep. Our opponent does switch out into Marowak, which is interesting because we have the advantage in energy, so we know we're going to get to the Shadow Ball first. and it one-shots Marowak. And this is just unfortunate at this point. Our opponent's definitely going to go out. What our opponent maybe should have done is try to catch, but I think we actually could have farmed down the Skarmory anyways, so not really anything our opponent could do. They tried to do what they could. Maybe they were trying to get to a Shadow Ball themselves, but we just had such an energy advantage. Another electric here, Alolan Raichu. Ferrothorn does resist everything that Alolan Raichu can throw. The possible moves are Thunder Punch, Wild Charge, Grass Knot, and Psychic. And probably just going to take this. It's definitely a Wild Charge. Oh, they just keep going for the Thunder Punch. Maybe they have Thunder Punch, Grass Knot. They get farmed down. Ton of energy here. Probably just going to throw this Thunder. Does about 40%, 35, 40, yeah. And is neutral against Altaria, so it's okay. He's going to be looking for these Icy Winds to do super effective, and our opponent actually has a Whiscash in the back, so this Whiscash is not going to be doing great against this Drifblim. What they're going to try to do is get to a Blizzard, which will one-shot. Actually, Blizzard's been buffed too, so it's going to do even more damage. And the Whiscash actually thought he was going for a bait on the Icy Wind. Doesn't end up shielding. This game's very over. Even though our opponent has 2 shields, he's going to be reduced in damage for his last Pokemon, and that's just going to be enough there. Obviously, we shield here and go for another Icy Wind. Probably our opponent gets to another Sky Attack after they shield, which will KO the Drifblim, but it doesn't matter because Pelipper will just KO this Mon. Comes in with the Ferrothorn. Didn't have enough energy to throw, but does take the Sky Attack away from this Altaria, so ends up working out. And you don't see too many Altarias in Great League this season. I think they've really been pushed out from the Galarian Stunfisks of the world, and yeah, the Azumarill obviously were always there. But yeah, Galarian Stunfisk is a new Pokemon and resists all the moves from Altaria, so yeah. And a lot of people aren't using Reggie that much either. Another Stunfisk. So that was 4 electrics in this set. Really interesting. Can you actually use both Stunfisks together? Someone let me know in the comments below. I actually don't know. I know they don't let you use both of the Giratinas, so I imagine it's something similar to that, where it's just a different form and you're not allowed to use both in the same team of 3. So gonna farm up a little bit more. He knows that the Sky Attack's not coming for a few more seconds. Throws this Icy Wind, does allow it to get KO'd, which is interesting. And he's going straight for these Shadow Balls because Azumarill's probably thinking, you know, he's probably going to throw Icy Wind. I'm not going to shield, but does end up taking half its HP for that. And if he can get off another Shadow Ball here, that would actually almost KO this Azumarill. And wow, our opponent thought that we were baiting the whole time. Obviously not, and is going to pay for it. I'm surprised no shield there, just because you're probably going to end up using a shield on Ferrothorn anyways. Maybe he won't, but probably does, right? Because these Power Whips are going to be super effective. Oh, he's just taking it. So probably... Well, this is risky, because Pelipper's double weak to Electric. These Weather Balls are going to be doing a lot of damage. I guess he just needs to get to one more. Gonna let this come through. Holy moly. Well, this game was played out oddly. Gonna shield this Drifblim and go for the Shadow Ball, which is going to KO. Hopefully the Thundershocks don't KO us in the meantime. Really risky plays there, I think, but it worked out, and that's all that really matters in the end, getting the W. Alright, I think this is the last game of the second set. So let's see if we can end this one with a win here. This is a tough matchup. I will say the charge moves from Deoxys aren't going to do too much, but these counters are doing an absolute ton. Doesn't shield the Power Whip, ends up taking about 35% from it, almost at half-life with all the damage coming through. The thing is, Seed Bomb is not a very high damage move, but against a very low HP Mon like Defense Deoxys, it's actually building up a lot. We don't shield, which is great because this Power Whip's going to cause a lot of damage. Probably going to come in with DRIFBLIM to try to finish off with the hexes, and it is super effective. Opponent stayed in just a tad too long, and it's going to take him out. So this is actually a really interesting matchup. The Munchlax. So Munchlax is actually taking double reduced damage from these hexes, and would also take double reduced damage from the Shadow Ball. But these Icy Winds are actually going to be doing a significant amount, plus reducing the damage that we're taking, because we're also taking double super effective damage from these licks, which are adding up. The one good thing is that with the high HP that DRIFBLIM has, you're actually able to survive a lot of these. And this is probably just a Body Slam, which is double resisted. Oh, Bulldoze, which is also resisted. So an interesting match where everyone's resisting everything except for those licks and these Icy Winds. Comes in with the Zoomerol, switches into Ferrothorn. Probably thought he had more energy there. This game looks like it's going to be very difficult to win just because of the two shields here still left on a Zoomerol. Gonna have to bait this Hurricane. Gonna have to bait it multiple times actually, to be fair, because there's almost no reason that a Zoomerol doesn't shield both of the next moves as long as you show that you have enough energy for the big move, right? And I don't know if we make it there or not. This would be interesting to see. Goes for the second bait. A Zoomerol most likely going to shield this, right? Does shield. Oh, he's going to try to catch an Ice Beam. Doesn't catch. We are at the Hurricane. I wonder if he'll throw it and then try to catch again. Or if he'll go for the Hurricane and then just farm down. Oh, close game. Really good sets here, though, by Arrow, displaying that the new Pokemon are actually really good. I think for these sets, actually, Asian Milkman picked his team because they were having some bet going. But this team actually ended up working out a ton for him, so glad to see it. Glad to see some of the new Pokemon being used in a advanced way. And hopefully this video helps you out if you were on the fence about making a Pelipper or using a DRIFBLIM that you already had. But I want to say we used DRIFBLIM ourselves in in recommended battles, or I was just testing it. Make sure that your DRIFBLIM has Icy Wind. We hadn't used our DRIFBLIM in so long that it actually had Ominous Wind and Shadow Ball. So definitely make sure you have that before going into GBL if you're going to be using DRIFBLIM. All right, that's going to be it for this video. If you liked it, definitely hit that like button. If you want to catch more videos, hit the subscribe, and let me know if you are going to be using these Pokemon in the comments below. I will catch y'all in the next video. See y'all in that one.